One of our trustees is going to be a little late. She says she's coming. Hi, Cindy.
I thought you were in the house in the order.
I just did. So we're going to do the
We're gonna do our.
Pledge of Allegiance, and then we're going to do the invocation with Mr. Hawkins.
I said now.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God, we thank you for this day you given to us, and we thank you for each member here and each resident, Lord, and we pray that you would give us wisdom as we go through today's meeting. In your name, amen.
Amen. I have a roll call, please.
President Moore.
Here.
Trustee Kennedy. Here. Trustee Pelichek.
Here.
Trustee Swack. Honorary. Trustee Hawkins.
Here.
Treasurer Judy Rivers. Here. And Clerk Lori Zelnok is excused.
We have a motion and support for the minutes of the meeting of February 10th.
I'd like to approve the February 10th meeting notes as presented.
All support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We need to approve today's agenda approval. Can I have a motion for that, please? A second.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, aye.
Opposed.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Could I have the treasurer's report, please?
I'd like to approve the treasurer report for February 2025 as presented.
Well,
I'll support.
I need a roll call for that, please.
Trustee Hawkins.
Yes.
President Moore.
Yes?
Trustee Pelichek.
Yes.
Trustee Kennedy. Yes.
In your packet is a budget adjustment for 24-25. Need a motion and support for that,
Okay,
please.
wait, before we do this,
Yes?
there's 2 pages of adjustments, one for March and one from the February meeting. The February meeting was, the motion was made to approve the budget adjustments for the 25-26 budget, which that isn't the budget we're adjusting the 24-25. So in your motion, I would like the adjustments for March and February included in it.
Motion and support for the treasurer's report as read. Is that it? That's all of it, Judy, right, for that?
Yeah, just that in the motion, they've got to make to accept the budget adjustments for March 10th and February 10th.
Okay, I have a motion, please, to accept the budget adjustments for 24 and 25.
Yep, I'd like to make the motion for the budget adjustments for 2024, 2025. This will include March and February.
Have support.
I'll support.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Hawkins.
Yes.
Trustee Pelichek.
Yes.
President Moore.
Yes?
Trustee Kennedy. Yes. Does that solve everything for the
Yeah.
budget adjustments? Okay, just want to make sure.
Just so you did properly.
Okay.
May I have the accounts payable report, please?
You, yeah. accounts payable for February on the agenda.
Mine says January.
One of these days I'll get this right.
So it should be for February then?
So then on my accounts payable, it says February 25 is
Right, it's just that on the agenda it says.
January.
the rest says February here.
It is February, it should be February, not January.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $19,136.75 for general, $3,206.11 for major, $2,218.93 for local, and nothing for Mill Park Recreation.
Support?
Roll call, please.
Trustee Hopkins.
Yes.
Trustee Pelichek. President Moore.
Yes.
Trustee Kennedy. Yes.
Is there any public comment at this time? Hearing nothing, we can go right into new business. If I'm going too fast, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of stuff to cover tonight, so trying to get it all in. So we're going to look at the Forest Road Street project, and I've invited Justin Wellman, a partner of Giffords and Webster, to come in. In your packet is all the estimates for them, from him to do the work in repaving the road. We'll be going over this packet. Everybody got that? We're going over this packet now. So would you like me to set up a chair for your board or something? You sure? So, Justin, the floor is yours to, if you can fill up their heads as quick and as bad as you filled mine up, they'll be lost by the end of this anyway, so.
I think he's going to get you something.
Oh, is it? Oh.
We have,
Get you something, Mike? An easel or something?
I am such a rookie.
Man, I think we got one. No, we got two. Maybe they're in the backpack. Yeah, this can work.
We can follow along on this packet, right? With what you're going to talk about?
So last summer, Mr. McDonald contacted our office as Mrs. Webster, 15 years ago, to resurface Forest Street, the last. And I came out and met Mike out here and basically walked the project, and we put together a estimate of construction costs to use to apply for funding with the Road Commission for Oakland County to obtain federal funds through their Surface Transportation Rural Paving Program. We went through that estimate, we submitted it to the county, and the county did award funding for over 2 different years to resurface the entirety of Forest Street. The first year would be the southern portion south of Elmwood, and the second year would be the northern portion north of Elmwood. And they had the village had the opportunity to combine them both or separate them out. With the second year having to front the cost, I think the Road Commission might ask that we keep it in the 27 and 28 years separate, so the work would be done in 2 separate years. The county came back and awarded funding higher than what our construction cost estimate is. So basically, with contingency, our construction budget was approximately $624,000 for the southern portion, and the northern portion was generally the same cost. The county came back and awarded $763,000 of federal monies for the southern portion and $779,000 for the northern portion. But just need to point out that any money that they give the village the village is going to be responsible for 20% of the construction costs. So the total award from the county for the southern portion was $953,750, of which the village would provide 20% of that cost. And then the northern portion, $973,750, and then 20% for that cost. That's up to that amount. So our estimate was considerably lower than that, so you would just be responsible for the 20% of the actual construction cost, whatever that came in, up to the funding amount that the commission is. In addition to our estimate of construction, we provided budget amounts for design engineering and construction engineering. I verified with the road commission this morning that those fees are not eligible to be covered by the grant. So that would be 100% the village costs. So we gave an estimate, a general estimate of the design fee around 7% of the construction, and the construction engineering of 15% for both sections. When I talked with Mike about this last year, and I think again with Bill this spring or this winter, the time frame to complete these projects is substantial because you have to go through a number of different number of hurdles to get the clearances. There's a environmental clearance, there's a historic preservation clearance that you have to go through when you use federal funds. So it was my recommendation to Mike last year and then to Bill again more recently, is that that design process should probably start sometime in the summer of 2025. And then with the surveying work that would need to be done in advance, and then all the submittals for environmental clearance and everything done at the beginning of 2026 to keep on schedule to bid the project in the late fall, early winter of 26, early 27, with construction to start in that spring. As far as the project goes, we recommend to do half of the road at a time, and we would maintain one-way traffic and then detour the opposite direction around the construction zone. There's not a really good other way to do it other than closing the road in its entirety, and that seemed problematic just for getting in and out of the village. So that is what we preliminarily recommended, and that is translated in the cost estimates as well. Again, I think one of the caveats Mike insisted on having when we submitted the estimate was to maintain traffic through Elmwood. So either or project, we would do that intersection and try to maintain traffic as best we can through the intersection to keep east-west traffic impacts to a minimum. That is the gist of what I have to present to you. I'm really here to answer any questions that you have about this.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You mentioned, was it the numbers going back to that when you're talking about the awarded amount was it 950?
Yeah, so for the 2027 segment, the southern segment,
Okay.
the construction amount that the road commission awarded was $953,750, of which they will provide federal monies of up to $763,000. And then the village would be responsible for the remainder, which is approximately $190,000. If it came in that.
Okay. I'm just curious because on my sheet says 761. Yeah.
So that was our
Estimated time.
estimated
That's
total.
what
We don't have that sheet.
Yeah, I think I'm
That's why
missing that sheet.
We
So-
can't understand what's going on here.
Well, can I approach?
Yeah, I'm sure.
So this is the number that we estimated for the total project cost.
Okay.
And it includes our engineering costs in here.
Okay.
This is the construction budget that we estimated total.
Okay.
The county came back, and what you don't have, and I forwarded some subsequent emails. They've awarded
Yeah.
this.
So that's why I was looking confused. I couldn't see that number.
Yeah,
on
I just
January.
got, I got the information today, so.
Unacceptable.
Yes, yeah, so, I mean, I can forward this over
Yeah.
to you
Sure,
as well.
that would be good.
Yeah, that would be great. That gives us more
Yeah,
to work with.
but basically, the county is awarded more funding than what we believe it's gonna take. So it's, but if the construction costs, whatever that dollar amount is, they'll cover 80% of the construction costs, the village would cover 20%. We don't believe you're gonna use the $953,000, but when I talked to them on the phone today, basically, this project would take up 80% of their budget, so they gave you the whole amount to work.
Justin, you might want to mention that the road commission is using rural, their portion of money that they set aside or that the government sets aside.
SENCOG, so the SENCOG is the Southeastern Michigan Community Governments. They're the planning organization that basically the money goes to them, they divvy it up, and they give the road commission for Oakland County a certain dollar amount for each fiscal year, and they're giving you all of the money that they got for 27 and 28 to do these two projects. Because there wouldn't be enough remainder to dole out to anybody else.
On this original one, it has resurfacing and reconstruction. We're only doing one, correct?
Resurfacing, when I walked it with Mike, there wasn't sure how much they would give us. So, I mean, it probably, you could do either or. I will say that the resurfacing budget, we accounted for a large chunk to fix the full depth pavement section, especially on the south end where the pavement's real bad. We're basically gonna go all the way down to the base and rebuild the whole thing in those areas and just resurface the top everywhere else. So there is some budget in the resurfacing budget to do a full depth replacement. It's just not everywhere like the reconstruction is.
Would you be able to send us those numbers tomorrow, or when do you think we'll
Which
get those?
numbers?
The numbers that you just received from the road commission.
Yeah, I think I forwarded it to Judy in an email
Okay.
recently. I think so.
Me?
Yeah.
Would
Okay, if it was Friday or Monday, I didn't see it.
would you send that tomorrow, Justin, just send it to the office?
He did, he said it's up there. Do you want me, I can go print it, I'll go check the.
I sent
Fine, just
her
taking notes.
the original email from September, which
I have-
explains the award. All right. And then I got clarity from them today that it only covers construction. It won't cover any engineering stuff. So that would be 100% village cost.
So is the design and engineering cost, can that be worked into the 20% of which the village is responsible for? So we're responsible for 20% and then those additional costs?
Yes.
Okay.
And just to be clear, these costs in here are a budget number. I haven't gone into detail for specific costs for engineering. It's not necessarily a quote. Generally, our quote would be reflected in these numbers, but I have not broken it all down. Took a hard look. This is generally what we would charge for that type of project.
Your design engineering, construction engineering,
Yes.
you're referring to, okay.
Oh,
Mike?
In the past, the village has always been responsible for the pre-engineering costs. The county never did allow us to use the grant money to do the construction engineering. They allowed us to use money to do the construction engineering. We just never had enough money without taking out a bond to cover the difference between our 20% share of the cost of the grant plus all of the construction engineering, so we did get a little benefit there that is not available to us now. But the pre-engineering has always been our responsibility.
And that,
So the cost of the engineering, design and engineering, we would have to do ourselves. We can't go out anywhere, get any kind of funding or help with any of that. That's where we're at today,
Right.
okay?
I would also suggest that if you do choose to do this, that the design engineering be handled to cover both separately, you know, and then the construction would be, you could separate the construction engineering out into different years and different proposals. But sending the surveyors out twice to do the same stretch of road, I would say it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Preparing the environmental clearances for the two different stretches of road, I would combine them together. Just try to get the economy of scale as much as you can with the design and take care of everything on the front end all in 1 year. You can split it up if the funding isn't available. You can definitely split it up. It's just it'll increase the costs somewhat to bring them up in respective years.
Substantially or by
10% maybe on the second year.
a 0.5%?
10%.
10% more to do it then, okay.
Is there any time limitation to those environmental clearances or anything?
So they recommend that we submit them about 12 months in advance. So that's why I'm suggesting starting in the summer of 25 to get all that preliminary work done and get it in, and then wait for MDOT and everybody else to go through their approval process. So in October of 26, it's ready to go out the door in the prime bidding season for construction.
Is there a possibility it could expire for the northern section in 27? Or,
I don't think it'll expire.
Okay,
It won't expire. It's not necessarily a permit. It's really just getting all your approvals in order.
okay.
Jennifer, do you have any questions for our visitor? Is there any more questions for Mr. Wellman?
Questions, but now we're talking about road stuff. West Leonard, or West, what do we call this one, Elmwood? Right? Going up the hill, planning on doing a derby for the festival this year, but that road is in dire need of some sort of repair. Before we just send kids down there with derby cars, so.
Are you talking about Elmwood past the pavement?
Not past
What?
the day,
No.
West London.
Just up to the top of the.
Oh, West Road?
No, West Leonard.
Yeah, Walnut.
Man, I'm a little
West
confused.
West Elm.
West Elmwood.
West Elmwood, okay, I got it. I
Officially
understand.
West Elmwood.
West Elm.
From the store up the hill.
Yeah, just to like the top of the hill. It's just it's in repair,
Right.
need of repair right now, so I just wanted to talk about what the plan was to try to fix that before the festival. Right. If there is a plan.
Without, I'll have to go over there and take a look at it.
Okay.
Give me your name and phone number, put it down for me, and I'll give you a call as soon as I go over there and take a look around and see what's gonna be up with that,
Okay.
okay? So make sure I have your number.
Yeah, I'll put it on the.
On the sign-in sheet's good.
So what I'd like to do is give a detailed proposal to do these, to the village, to go through with all the, in detail, the cost breakdowns, and then the terms and everything, and have you can review it from there.
Okay,
So, like I said, it's a good ballpark number, I haven't reached out to everyone on what everything is gonna cost.
okay. So this is where we are. This is in your packet.
I'll take a look.
No questions, no further. Are we done here with this? Are we all up to snuff on where we're at today with the road project, repaving project? So that's-
I don't know if the question was asked, but being that this is a project that extends out years, is there any chance in any kind of quotes, increasing by a certain percentage?
So we provided a 20% contingency in there
Right.
because of inflation costs and market-driven variables with gas and labor and everything else. So I basically, from my estimate, for example, the 2027 costs, we estimated $520,000. That's based on 2024 prices.
So,
And then we added a 20% contingency to try to account for 27, 28 pricing, because it is extended farther out.
okay.
To go through the intersection, excuse me, I just butted in here. And we just repaved that intersection 6 years ago. We're not gonna tear it up again and redo it
I
again.
would resurface it to go along with your new forestry. And I'm thinking, just take off the top 1.5 inches, put back a new 1.5 inches. So it's seamless down the forest.
Okay, which is different than the,
You don't have to, but that would be what I would recommend you do.
I can see it falls apart if it's not done right. With the seams on.
but for the street itself, we're taking off the top 3 inches, correct?
Yes. It's
But
three-
when we
3.5
get
inches.
to the intersection, we'll be doing just 1.5 inches, so there's gonna be cost involved there too, rather than,
It's included.
it's all included in here?
I mean, you could go down deeper, but if you want to maintain traffic through the intersection, I would not
No.
do more than 1.5 inches. Basically,
We did-
they're gonna just put some temporary millings from the asphalt milling operation in that to maintain it, they'll clean it out right before they pave.
This is kind of like a top dress through the intersection, is that what, did I be?
For all kinds of purposes, yes.
Okay, I got it, now I understand.
And then you would just decide what year you want to do that, in the first year of the section.
Very good, sir. Is there anything more you'd like to put out to the council tonight, Justin?
I think I've gone over it. I mean, Mike, can I listen to anything what we talked about, or?
No.
Yeah.
It's better in a sense because they liberated more funding for us, likely more than we will need, except for any inflationary or, cost-driven items. The next step, just in case you're wondering, would be get the complete plans, get the final numbers, and then we'll have to figure out what the village's share will be for the match for the construction grants, and then what the cost will be for engineering. And then what we've done in the past is gotten a municipal bond, which we guaranteed with our Act 51 money. But it's going to be a bigger bond than we've seen in the past. We borrowed $150,000 previously, so you're probably going to be likely significantly more than that. I haven't seen the number.
Well, yeah, looking at our estimate, we're at 135,000 somewhere in there,
That's each segment.
each seg.
Yeah.
So we're at 270 something?
Yeah.
Our cost is gonna end up to be 2,070 or above.
But that's just for the engineering. You also have the 20% for the construction on top
Yeah, it's going to take some math.
Yeah. So,
of
it's more than I said.
it. The good part is the county is allotting they're gonna cover the construction, 80% of the construction, regardless if it's 520, 620, or 950. The drawback is that now it goes up your 20% number. And that's times 2 for all sections.
Mr. McDonald, do you know if it's possible to pull 2 different bonds at once? So like, could we get a bond for the southern section and a bond for the northern section?
That's an interesting question. I don't know, but we did have 2 bonds. We still had the Forest Street bond, but we got the bond for East Elmwood Street. So that's not out of the realm of possibility, but whether we can afford to pay 2 bonds for that period of time.
I was gonna
that's-
say, would that double your payment instead of having one larger bond that would potentially be,
I,
I don't know, I guess that would all be in,
I think that
Question to
has
ask.
we have to look into that.
yeah.
I don't think that's something we can easily answer. I was just more wondering about the feasibility.
It's worth looking at.
And if we're doing them 1 year apart, it's not really gonna matter if we pull that bond for everything at the same time or a year later. We're not saving that much money to pull it a year later.
The only added cost would be, to do a municipal bond, you have to have bond counsel and also, there's two legal entities involved. One takes care of selling the financial bond that you're trying to obtain. And the other one is the legal side of it, getting all the paperwork done for the state of Michigan, things like that. So there's some additional costs there. It was in several $1,000s, not tens of thousands. Several thousand in 2017 for that. So I just wanted you all to be aware that that's the big picture.
Anybody have anything else for Mr. Wellman?
I'll email you this stuff. I'll leave these here too, in case you want them, just to review.
Well, we have them on the sheet, right?
You don't have this.
And I have your email upstairs. Well, Judy will get that out. We'll get it out to everybody.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
That'll be fun to walk into. I saw that and I was like, that's not so bad. Then I was like, oh,
Oh, okay.
I see now. It wasn't as much fun.
It is, looks there. So, it's going to be my recommendation to the council that we stay with Giffords and Webster for this project. But if you wish me to go somewhere else, he's been very good with Mike previous to me and me. I have all kinds of dumb questions for him. He's very patient with me. So, that is my recommendation. So I'm asking the council what you want me to do, or you want us to do here. Either we put him on as Giffords and Webster as,
Do we already have money in getting a quote? Did this cost us?
don't have any money in this yet.
No money yet?
No money is, no cost has been asked from us.
Timing wise, is there enough time to entertain another quote?
I don't feel there is, and I feel they're an equitable company, and I think we've had them in the past, or we didn't, and then they went away for a while, now they want to come back again. So they've been very good to us so far, and I don't see that changing.
Well, there's a lot of money at stake for the engineering company that does the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gifford Webster had done all of the village roads back into the 80s, up until I left them and went to Rowe. There were some internal problems at Giffords that we experienced during the Forest Street, and I didn't want to go through that again. So that's why I went with Rowe. And Rowe row, as it turns out, was probably no better or no worse than Giffel Webster. They were
Oh.
still the same, you know, projects, you
Okay.
have problems come up and how they deal with them is what you want to worry about. But you can have as many consulting engineers as you want. So whether you choose Giffords or Rowe or another company, that's.
I guess I should have asked him for some recommendations, like, what other roads have you done? Let me go drive
you know,
those.
the thing of it is, it took us 6 months to get to this point, to get all these facts and figures that we do have together.
Based on that, there's no time to get a
And,
second
you
quote then.
know, for me, looking at
Yeah.
that, it's, whoa, okay.
Well, you could certainly, you know, reach out.
I can put a call.
It does take time.
There's the survey company you told me about that's out of Oxford. I can certainly give them a call about this if you would like me to.
Oh,
Well.
It's just really
he's
big
given
numbers.
you some numbers
yeah.
to digest, so if you do contact someone, as soon as they hear those numbers, they're gonna be interested. So.
Yeah, but the thing is based on percentages. We're always going to end up with 20%.
Yeah.
How much more savings are we going to get from one company to the next? The biggest expense, the difference is only going to be in what the surveys.
And
Company does.
at these numbers, I don't see somebody coming in at considerably less. You know, I mean, like
No.
you said, are we gonna save 100,000 or something like that? Maybe, but at the end of the day, that's like pennies. You know, for ours, it's not much.
So you could wait until you had a chance to go through that before deciding, or I have no problem recommending either one of them. I think, I had a lot of good feedback from what Giffords did Forest Street. Residents along Forest were inconvenienced, but they felt like when they had a problem, some of them didn't like the elevations and things like that at their driveways. They took care of it. There was no messing around. I cannot say the same for Rowe.
Okay.
They were a little less user-friendly and more get in, get done, and get out.
And as much of an
Yeah.
inconvenience, that's something to be said.
That said, when you use MDOT money, which is what the road commission is giving us, MDOT has final say, and they are a low bid requirement. They will not let you choose a better construction company. You can choose your own engineer, but
Oh.
if you get a low bid from, and that's what happened actually on Forest Street, low bid was for the amount of work that had to be done, because you won't remember, we're probably right there, but we had to add like 1.5 feet on each shoulder of asphalt, because we had a 9-foot road and the standard is 12 now, 11 or 12, I think it might be 11, for between the lines. So it was a lot more project than that company really, either they didn't devote enough resources or they just took forever for them to get the job done. It was right up into November to the cutoff date before we finally got everything done. But that's really not under the control of the consulting engineer, that's under the control of who gets picked.
So they did the work for the first repaving
Yeah,
that we're still paying for.
no, I think we're done now, aren't we?
June,
Yeah, this year.
This year's the last
Yeah.
year. And for under $50,000, our payments to about 15, 16,000 a year.
Per year.
And
Okay.
for 15 years, you can borrow money for up to 15 years. The ironic part of it is, I talked too much, but you have to, in order to get the municipal bond, you have to guarantee that the road will last 15 years. And so, if that road's, you know, you saw how long Forest lasts, it's probably been going downhill for the last 4 or 5 years.
yeah.
And
So you make me take the
we
bottom,
just barely get
and then you make me commit to
Yeah,
15 years.
exactly.
So I don't, it's kind of a,
But the people were positive with these people, and the village was happy with the work we got from Giffords and what in the past, and we're going at the same project again. So they're already very familiar with the area and the project that has to be done, so
And
that's a plus for me.
one of the takeaways from what you just heard is whether or not you can start asking now for money for West Elmwood, because that's the next road that's gonna need repaved, you know, from Whitehead Street up the hill. That's as far as we got when we did East Elmwood in 2017. So that, I don't know if the road commission will commit on another road project this early. I mean, you guys, I'm not even sure if we can do it, you know, if we can afford it, if we can borrow enough money against what we have available to pay it back with. But that, you've got all the statistics you need now to get that figured out.
See, and unfortunately, that Act 51 money is all based on census too, and our census taking was down for whatever the reason, so our money since we did that road project has gone down. Which is why to fill out that census is so important.
It's kind of crap too, because you could be, we're a main drag through here and get a lot of road traffic that does not live here.
Right.
You know, a lot of I see a lot of truck traffic going across West Elmwood.
Yeah, he didn't bring that up. I did talk to him about that, and he did verify that exactly. There is a higher usage rate for commercial. I asked if that would make a difference on funding or in the quality of the asphalt, because
Yeah,
my experience has been that, you know, there's residential grade asphalt and then there's super highway asphalt. You know which one you'd rather have, so will MDOT pay for it? That's
Yeah.
the big
Did
question.
you do some kind of a study? I mean, when I'm out there working at the village, it's one truck after another.
Yeah.
Big
We've-
trucks. Going that way and coming down 69, going up 69, coming back down.
yeah.
They don't want to go all the way over to a clear road.
And it's got, with the opening or with the acquisition of Koenig
Mm-hmm.
by Dan's Excavating, their operations are all
Oh.
north of us, so their trucks are constantly going through.
Gotcha.
Your point's well taken, and hopefully that'll be addressed with the engineers, what the formula will be for the actual asphalt. But to be perfectly frank, and we learned it the hard way, if you don't go to the base on these roads, and which we can't for monies, that won't give us enough money, but if you don't go to the base, you're gonna get reflecting cracks. Cracks that are already down there, you cover them up for Forest Street, will start to get reflecting cracks a year after it was due. So that's what you're facing, because of the stupid Michigan funding system for roads. And,
If it was just cars, that's one thing,
right, right.
but it's these heavy
Trucks.
trucks.
And especially in Leonard, because we do not have a good base. It's very, very wet from the south of Elmwood.
Okay, guys, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to reach out to somebody else to compare it to, or?
I guess when is the drop dead date of when we absolutely need to have a decision made?
Well, we have to have the survey completed by the end of this year
Okay,
and
but
on
that's,
file.
but it's
Oh.
March.
Yeah,
That's 9 months.
I don't know what their scheduling is like. So if you
Understood,
want to
but-
hold off, I told them that I felt we shouldn't push it beyond April, and talking with Justin, he agreed that we shouldn't push it beyond that.
I mean, I understand that. I'm trying to get a sense of what our timeline looks like as well.
If,
Go ahead, Mike.
if you're not ready to commit until you've had a chance to absorb the numbers and find out how much money you've got to borrow in order to make this project happen. At that point, then maybe you can talk about entering into an agreement for the preliminary engineering work. But I wouldn't recommend you jump the gun on that. Whatever company does it, it's gonna make it work. In 2025, if it's July or August when you make your decision, you're still gonna get your preliminary surveys and that done
Oh, you think we have that long? Well, I guess that's my mistake, because when I was talking
Well,
to...
it's not a mistake, though. I mean, the thing is you're just now getting, I mean, the numbers changed since the last time we talked about this as a council. County came back with more money for construction only. So, you know, that all figures into the picture of how much the project's gonna cost. And
Who do we have to talk to about money?
Well, I mean, yeah, we have to...
Well, I mean, like the bonds,
it's
and,
gonna be
you know.
tough. You know, Judy and I talked about it, you know, when I started looking for money, and
Well, I mean, the bonds and the question about 2 bonds versus 1 bond,
Well,
like that kind of,
there are
those kind of
companies,
questions.
We used Benzinski and Sons last time around, but Judy will remember. Who else was on the council in 2017?
I was, but I'm sure I was.
Sure.
Was I?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, nobody here, but Benzinski and Son, they called me right before we were getting ready to let the bond, and they said, you know, our company isn't making very much money on this. I really should have charged you more. And we had a contract, which is very important. And I said, well, what's our contract say? Well, I think it was like $2,700 for them to do the bond work. And I said, well, that's what we have to live with. So whether they not they'd be happy to see us again, I don't know. But there are several bond, the Michigan Municipal League has a directory of providers for bonds, for legal, you know, bond counsel. Because you have to, when you buy a bond, you also have to have an attorney's firm to certify it to the state. So there's a couple, like
Everyone's
back
gotta
then, it was
get their
a couple
money.
grand each way. There'll be more now, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess I could see from the council that we need a little more time to digest this before we go forward. But Judy and I can start looking at somebody that'll give us a bond for this money.
Yeah.
We can start researching that.
Yeah, Oxford Bank, Huntington Bank.
Oh, even locals like that'll do it?
Oh, yeah. Well, this is not a big project. That's part of the problem. For us, it's big.
Yeah.
But part of the problem is banks, the big banks, they're not gonna mess around with a
No.
$500,000,
Gotcha.
you know.
Yeah.
For them, there's more money to be made, the bigger ticket.
Yeah.
Which puts limitations on us because you're strained to find a bank that will help you. So using banks that you already use, if possible.
Gotcha.
Like Oxford Bank or local, an area bank.
Genesis or something like that, yeah, gotcha. That's good to know, at least it's,
Can we move on to the next thing on our agenda now? I think we've covered that pretty much. So we're going to hold off on the forestry project until we think about this. It's a big money. It's a lot for us to think about. I get it. And in the meantime, Judy and I guess we'll start looking at funding for this big project. So next on the agenda is the McDonald property information. We got a letter from Mike and Debbie McDonald. It's dated March 5th to the council members. This goes back to 1977 when
it's funny.
the village abandoned a alleyway that runs next to Mike and Ostrander's property. Mike was not living there at the time. So I shouldn't have said that.
Okay.
Robert Bowman was, so it was ceded to him that they would have abandoned the property to them, not to him personally. But when we went back and tried to find the books that this was in, we could not find it. The books are missing. So we have to redo it and reapprove it and get it in the minutes so that it can be used for him to have for Mike to take over that abandonment and have a deed add that to his property deed.
And this is the current wall, right? That we're, like, what we see right now includes that alley for your section? It's already, like, you have trees,
I've got stuff,
it's,
yeah,
yeah,
I've
it's
got
trees and
stuff
stuff, so
there.
it's continuous to your property right now. It looks, so nothing physically changes.
Nothing
As far as
physically
the
changes, there's no alleyway left there anymore.
Correct. Okay.
Part of this is, I'd like to add the alley, the abandoned alley to my property description. And Mrs. Ostrander and I are, she's gonna sell me, or I'm going to acquire the northern part of Lot 4, of the east half of Lot 4, which is alongside my barn. So,
I actually do see it public record too, that little notch
it's
is
big,
still there.
big
I
notch,
see.
yeah.
It's just a little,
so it's basically
like, that's his property right
the
there.
42 and a half feet of the north end of Lot 4, then the alley is a 20 by 25 piece of land, and then if the council approves, I'll combine all of that and add that to my property. And if I do it carefully, I won't uncap my property taxes, so, but I have to do it this way. I have to.
So do you have to do something with the Ostranders then?
Yeah, and that's why the resolution I provided indicates, in order to do that, I have to get a new legal description for them and a legal description for me. It'll
Oh,
be
for
surveyed.
Pete's sake.
Yeah, it'll be surveyed.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to do it unless council was willing to, let me combine those properties.
So the resolution is only for the 20 by 25 alley? And then you have to deal with the Ostranders for the remainder?
Yes,
Gotcha.
yes.
I believe it's been attached to Mike's property for more than 7 years, and he's been mowing it and caring for it, so
Well,
I see no
yeah.
issues with the resolutions.
Ever since I've lived here, it's been part of your property that I thought it was.
Yeah.
And I may end up having to go to court,
Is it worth it?
well, no, I'm hoping that if I do it this way,
That you can avoid that?
it'll be acceptable,
Yeah.
so.
So we have a resolution in front of you here, it's part of this. If you want to read through it, when you get down to the bottom of the first page, we would have to approve it with the correction to the village council at the regular meeting. It says March 5th, it has to be March 10th today. We have to make that, with that correction, we can approve that.
I see the 10th, okay.
So take some time to read through it. It's all the legalese. But essentially does what we're asking to do was abandon that properly and get it in our minutes so it can be used, so that give him exclusive rights to that area.
Yeah, and it's already fenced off as it's not part of the alley any
Correct,
longer.
yes.
So it's, like I said, after, it's been well over 7 years
Yes.
of being mowed and cared for on the McDonald side, so.
If I can attest to it, it's been over 40.
I can-
The fence was there when I bought the house.
Yeah.
I, for years,
Just kind of
what
assumed.
happened was, real quick, Debbie and I bought the house. I didn't read maps or surveys back then, so I thought I was getting it. You walk out in the yard and see your fence goes down there, and it's between you and your neighbor. Well, that must be my property. Well, it turns out it wasn't. And about a year after, well, you can see that the resolution that the clerk's office has is about 4 or 5 months, maybe 6 months after the board took action. I think the council took action in
February of 78.
Yeah, and so there was a stretch before the resolution even got filed with the clerk at Oakland County. So meanwhile, that property hasn't been paying, it hasn't cost me anything, I haven't had to pay taxes on it. Whereas Mrs. Ostrander's been paying for the property that I've been taking care of, so she and I are gonna work something out equitable on that. But she wants us to have it, because she said, there used to be 2 blacksmith barns. My barn was one, and then where this property is, where the fence is now, that used to be a second barn that they took down in, I think, 1975 or 76. And but the fence, and then the fence had been right there next to it. So, long story short, she told me, or her parents always told her that that land should have been,
That's kind of funny.
with the Montroses, I think, were the people that owned it back then.
So is it filed correctly with Oakland County then, or no?
It's been filed as abandoned.
Oh,
So
Good.
my next hurdle would be to get the legal descriptions and then hope that the assessors will, approve it. And that's why I wanted to have the village council's approval, or at least affirmation that it would be fine if I did acquire it, combine it, and add it to my property.
because really everything resides on what you do now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
After that,
that's
there's
what
no-
we're turning
there's
everything.
no money to
Actually,
us,
we're
so-
turning everything over and saying, we're out, we're done.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did definitely abandon it, yes, it's yours.
And that's-
And giving him exclusive rights to
That's it.
it so nobody else can walk in and say, I want that little piece of property.
And
It's
that all hinges-
pretty
hinges
landlocked.
on Mrs. Ostrander wanting to continue to do this, because otherwise she would get half of that 20 by 25 area.
all the vacant lot
Because
part.
she's the adjacent neighbor, so, which she has currently no interest in. She wants me to get this done. So here I am.
Gotcha.
So you just need our approval and you can go
Yep.
ahead and do what you
I
want.
can
Yeah.
start it officially.
Sounds good.
I've asked all my questions.
Kelly? No more questions? Got it? So can I get a,
Roll call.
can I get a motion to approve this resolution as written with the correction at the bottom of the page for the first page for the village council regular meeting on March 10th, 2025, not March 5th. We need to correct that before it goes out.
You're talking about right here?
Here.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, I will make a motion to approve the Village of Leonard resolution to resolve the determination of ownership for vacant land and the combination of such property within the Village of Leonard between the McDonald and the Ostrander and the vacant lot alleyway properties. With the correction that the meeting is on March 10th of, this meeting occurred on March 10th of 2025, not March 5th.
I'll support.
That works.
Take a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Hawkins,
Yes.
trustee Swag,
Yes.
trustee Pelican,
Yes.
President Moore,
Yes.
trustee Kennedy, yes.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
What's anybody else to do with it?
Yeah.
Just let it sit in limbo, yeah.
Mind if I have it?
Okay,
Can you repeat your motion again, please, I get done?
Do
Sorry.
you want me to just write it?
Yeah,
I'll just write it and then give it to you.
oh, thank you.
okay. That takes care of that. We're down to, the meeting schedule dates. Last meeting,
You missed it.
You missed one. Number 3.
oh, I'm sorry, geez, compensation. Now we'll go to the Village of Leonard ordinance package. We need to do the ordinance that, for our compensation rates, the people who work for the village, us. It deals with the new rates. For how we pay people that are on the council and executive branch, and treasurer, all of us are in there, so. This will be the new rates, what you're seeing on this page now.
How are these rates different? Okay, 5 more per meeting.
You guys want a minute to go over it?
Is everything monetarily accounted for on the budgets and,
I believe it was on the budget we approved, yes.
okay, cool. I'm done. Where's mouse? I will make a motion to approve the ordinance to amend the code of, hold on a second. I will make a motion to approve, what do I call this? Yeah, I was looking for something that was in
It's
here.
an ordinance, so
Um,
it's
well, I
for
will-
ordinance number 1014.
There we go, that's what I'm missing. 104. Oh, I see it now. I will make a motion to approve the changes, the amendment to ordinance 1.014 for the, I guess, for the purpose of adjusting compensation for the village employees.
Support.
Nobody else to say
We
that.
have support. And I need a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Hawkins,
Yes.
trustee Sweattick,
Yes.
trustee Pelichick, President Moore,
Yes.
trustee Kennedy, yes.
I have a sheet for the mileage rates. The next one on the list. I can't,
It was in last month's,
pardon me?
it was in last month's packet.
It was in last month's
It
packet?
was approved,
Yeah.
but there wasn't a motion or a roll call on it.
Did you just skip meeting dates?
Yep, we have to do item number 4.
Meeting scheduled.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, while she's looking for that, we'll do when we did the meeting dates, there was a change in one of the meeting dates. I think April's meeting was on the wrong day, and we had, I brought it up.
Okay.
But we'd never made a motion to adopt that change in our meeting schedule. So that's what this is about.
Was it this date? Oh, it was this meeting, correct?
Meeting dates we had in
But
February.
it was for this
Yeah, there was-
specific.
The federal mileage rate was included in that packet. And it says in the minutes that, where was it? It just made the remark it was increased, there was no vote on it.
Okay, I think we just assumed that
So we need
we
to
didn't
vote
have a
for
choice on
the
that one.
thing.
Okay. Let's go back to meeting schedule dates. So it was this meeting here that had the wrong date. I don't know if anybody has to
There
schedule it.
wasn't a motion made, period. It was kind of just discussed. So,
For the meeting dates, though.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just brought it out that it had to be changed. We just went right on, we kind of
Okay,
went right
so
by it.
I will make a motion, and you believe it was April that was incorrect?
I believe it was
That does sound familiar.
April, because it was like, it came in as a Tuesday in the
Okay.
first week, and it had to go to the next week
Okay.
for a Monday for the,
So I will make a motion to amend the April regular council meeting date to reflect April 14th.
Wait. Why are we doing it?
Number 4.
Okay, all right. All right, lost it.
Yeah, no, I know. It's all good.
Yeah, well, we can talk about that. Okay, sorry. I'm with you.
And I think that's the only one that was incorrect, so I'm just gonna
Yeah.
stop it right there.
yes.
So your motion
So
was
let's
amend
look
April council date.
To be the 14th.
April 4th.
I think we had it as the
April
15th on the list, and it should be the 14th, which is the second Monday.
So the motion, I have support. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'm sorry, I didn't say anything. Aye too, so I'm an aye. Not opposed.
Okay, this is April date.
John, did you support that?
I did not, but I can.
Who did support on that?
John,
I didn't, but I can.
you did?
I don't think
thought
I
you
did.
said I'll second it.
Did I?
No?
No, I didn't. But I'll second. I didn't, but
Okay.
I can second.
That's getting late. It's time for the clown show.
Okay.
Yeah, here I go again.
Oh,
I've been
okay.
in this position before. It's not gonna
As long
bother
as
me to be
Alex is
stupid
not
again.
writing then. So now we can do mileage rates.
Oh, okay. All I have is, it's gone up from 67 cents per mile up to 70 cents per mile. That will be the change. So we're adding 3 cents to what we were paying.
Okay, and that, oh, I see this, so we have to adopt that locally, I thought that was just kind of given to us. I will make a motion to increase the mileage rates for 2025 from .67 to .70 cents per mile.
I'll support.
I need a roll call for that, Alex.
Okay, I will get there soon and ready. Trustee Hawkins,
Yes.
Trustee Swag,
Yes.
Trustee Pelichick, President Moore,
Yes.
Trustee Kennedy, yes.
Okay, there's only one more item for new business, and then we'll go on to some old business and other reports. And the dust control bit, is Big Barney's, is that who we do dust control with now?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same person, as he's just,
It's
what,
we did
okay,
last year.
what he's done, or do you want to talk about it?
No,
Okay. What he's doing, he's got a new bid in for us for this year for the dust control, and he's raising it from 10 cents to
12 cents.
12 cents. So it's 2 cents more per foot, and a $60 application for the Pollyant parking lot. Do we do the parking lot? Do we dust control in the parking lot? We do?
it's $50 a year.
It's 50, so it's up $10 from 50 to do the Pollyant Trail parking lot. So there's a $10 increase there.
Is there any reason to bid this with other people?
We
How
can.
bad is the dust control needed in the parking lot? I mean, people
I
probably.
mean, but
don't
this is
go
the
up
fellow
to
we've been
100,
doing
right?
business with. I don't think this is extreme because costs go up for everybody.
And it's 2 cents.
Yeah.
I don't, it's not much.
2 cents to $10 every time it comes out, so.
How many times does it come out?
Every time we do the road, I would say 4 times a year.
Oh,
No, I think we do usually the Pollyant Trail just gets it twice.
Oh, that, for that part, but for the roads, we do,
Some years it's twice. If it's bad, if conditions are bad, we've done either partial or a complete application.
that's just the parking lot for the trail, right? But the roads, we do it every time we grade, don't we?
No.
When you call it grade,
Not
you haven't?
necessarily, no.
Where have you lived?
So how many times last year did we oil the roads?
Twice.
Twice?
oh,
Okay. So
With the Pollyant Trail and the roads is a minimum of 2 applications. If the weather is
okay,
bad for roads, we might do a grading and a chloriding again. We may not, it's up to you, up to the DPW to decide what areas might need chloride or just grading.
okay.
I will make a motion to continue with Big Barney's road maintenance at the new bid price of 12 cents per foot and $60 per application for the Pollyant parking lot.
I'll support.
We have a support. Can I have a roll call? Vote please, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Actually, it's money, so we'd have to do,
Roll call.
we should do roll call on money.
Oh, I'm sorry. We think you got an eye appointment Wednesday.
Are you good with the motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my fault. I need a roll call for that.
Yep,
Trustee Hawkins.
Yes.
Trustee Swack.
yes.
Trustee Pelishek. President Moore.
Yes.
Trustee Kennedy. Yes.
So we'll move on to old business. Considering the road grader, unfortunately, Phil Starr's had another mishap, and he's on medical again here, so I don't foresee the road. Hopefully we'll have the road grader by when we need it in the spring, early, later, I don't know, but we might have to call Craig Atchison to come down and hire him down here for at least one time. Don't know. Just- The update on the Forest Street, the 4285, I'm getting a little dry. The forest update, I have emailed into John, I have not gotten a response back from him yet, so I can't answer to where we're at in that right now.
It's not going
So
anywhere.
we go to the President's report, the Freedom of Information report. We are still getting calls on that house. There are still people who think they can rehab it. So they're not taking no for an answer.
Nope. I
I don't have a CDBG report other than we are sitting on some money, about $7,000 that we can help somebody out somewhere. If somebody's got anything we could do when this weather is now breaking, that we should use that up or they're gonna come asking for it back.
They do have to be approved by it
People
too.
know about this, because I know
Try
the
to.
house, I think she just moved in, that could use some work.
As long as, I think they have to, would be approved by it too.
Yes, yes.
You know, it can't just be anybody.
No, I just wonder if people
Yeah, it's
actually
income.
know about
Yeah,
it.
they-
Probably not enough, and you try to spread the word, but I think a lot of people are kind of, I don't want to say embarrassed, but proud. And it's like, just take the money.
Take the money.
Let's just take the money. I mean, if you can apply for it, please, take the opportunity, you know?
Okay, so on to ordinance enforcement. I don't know any, I don't have any, nothing's come across me. So an update on the park happenings. I had a lot. Unfortunately, it has to go back to the park because while they approved it, they didn't vote on anything. And they have to send us a letter of recommendation to what they voted on. That has to come to us before we can approve them going forward with the cost of things that they're doing in the park.
How many people are on that committee? I knew of two, and one of them's gone. How many people are on that committee?
1, 2, 3, 4.
I was just, oh, there are 5 or 6.
John Moran's medical, he's had a hip replacement.
Okay, well, he's
But Doug and Linda Nomaker,
Oh.
myself, Brad Smith, who lives up on across from First Road. Charlie and Leslie McKenna have been on HIAT, you know, they haven't been active. I'm not sure they're still on it, but they still check in once in a while and see what's going on. So.
They've had nothing going on, so I'm sure they're building a house and stuff. So did she end up with a new sign design then that can be approved?
Yeah,
there's-
she had a couple of designs, she brought them to the committee.
Yep.
We liked the signs, but we had to change the language. So Linda went back and had that change made, and that's how we got to where we are now. They didn't approve it, she sent it out to everybody, but you can't approve things.
But technically not approved till the next meeting.
But she sent 2 of them to us to approve at this meeting. So there's a different design on one than what we were looking at that meeting.
The park committee is a recommending body, so we would recommend a design to the council, but if you don't like it, you don't have to follow the recommendation.
Where's the signs going
It's gonna be on a boulder in the park.
on?
That takes care, I'm sorry about the park happenings, but, I would have only,
So their
if we
next-
would have done this, we would have compounded the problem instead of
Well,
helping.
I'm guessing their next meeting is in March? Is it March or? is
20th.
it March 20th?
Yeah.
So they can approve it then, and then it'll come back to us in April, so they'll
Yes.
get it.
We'll see if we have enough members.
I have everything.
Because I think
Oh, they're gonna be out of town. yes.
I have all the facts and figures. I'm just gonna give that
Yeah.
right back to them and, say, you know. they
Well, like I
can
said,
vote
the
on
park
it.
committee has to actually approve it, but Doug and Linda will be out, you're right. Okay, that may sit for a little while. Next up,
Trustee and committee reports. I don't know who's on the summer festival committee. I don't know.
Just left.
right,
He wanted to talk about it too, but took too long, I guess.
Well, no, he was worried about the hill.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
They tried to have the Derby in the last couple strawberry festivals. And unfortunately, they haven't had enough interest to justify doing it, but he's still trying, so. Whether
Is
or
it-
not the hill's.
is it in
safe-
bad shape? I haven't seen anything that, I didn't notice anything that
You
was,
drive that way too, don't you?
well, and we're on bikes or we're walking, and I don't remember anything that was like significant, you know?
Nothing that stands out.
No, I mean, nothing like the rest of the roads. That one I would have left alone for a while, so.
Well, the only thing I've heard out of this committee is this might be the last strawberry festival. But I don't know who to call, who to talk to or anything. I don't know if they've even had a meeting yet.
Brandy was supposed to be here, she didn't make it. At least that's what,
She's chair of that committee?
She's chair of that. She's all sorts of
Okay.
people in that committee.
So we must have a phone, there must be a phone
Big
number
Kyle.
upstairs for, do you know who Brandy is? Judy, you must know.
she lives on Gerst,
Yeah.
on Gerst Road, but
I know
on
of,
the other side.
Do we have a phone number in the office I can reach her or something? I can just.
I have an email for her, if not a phone number.
I've got a phone
Okay.
number.
Okay. Have a cable commission report?
We didn't meet last month, but we'll be meeting the end of this month.
They did call me. I thought I broke the camera. That's the first thing I asked the guy. He says, no, he wants to interview me, so. Go shopping that day or something if he comes up. Look at that fool up there. How did he ever get there? Decorating committee, come on.
No, nothing yet. May, May.
Do you need the signs?
That was quick.
Do we need the flags swapped? It's getting to be spring.
It'd be nice, but maybe we'll get when the weather gets.
Little bit.
It's gonna be nice now, but there's nobody available during. the
Well,
week.
and I offered to do it, and he told me I wasn't tall enough. Because you usually do it. He said, I don't know if you could make the reach. I'm like, but I can try.
And sometimes I do have to get
And-
up on the rail, which, shame on me.
But I did tell him, as soon as the red and white comes down, the other ones can go right up. So same, like, don't even come down. Just swap, like literally swap them. Don't go back up a second time. And I did tell him that it doesn't have to be done immediately. Those are not Christmas, they're holiday, so they were meant to be just while snow was on the ground. As soon as snow's gone, so that would be the only flag changeover. But
So do we just contact, fire?
we'll
Yeah, there's something.
we'll get a
else.
hold. Yeah, we'll get a hold of
Just call them.
Don. Yeah,
So then, okay,
we'll
moving
contact
on.
him for that.
The North Oakland Transportation Authority, we did have a special meeting last week. Early, and yours truly was late and got berated totally for it and deserved it, so.
That's not true at all. We were very grateful that you came because you gave us a quorum, so.
Yeah, it's important. They couldn't do it without me.
So what should I write down officially for the record here?
For the Transportation Authority meeting,
Yes.
it was a closed door meeting.
I was gonna say it was
It's not something-
closed, so there was
It's all
nothing.
legal. It's not something we can discuss.
You just go legal meeting, no
Yes.
discussion.
And I did attend a planning commission meeting.
We
Who
did
was chairing
have-
that meeting. I'll let her give her report.
We did have our final fourth meeting for the year, so we are technically legal. And we will have some sidewalk updates. I need to get a hold of Leslie and get some, we're trying to update the master plan, and that is something that Leslie has the files for, and she has the computer programs for. So it's just taking the time and getting a hold of Leslie and making some really minor changes to the master plan. Things like photos, things like stats, things like of that nature. So, but we are still working on that. That's kind of all the planning commission is doing right now.
Okay. Next is,
I would like to make a motion to cancel the planning commission meeting for April.
March or April?
March. I would like to, I will be canceling in April also, but I would like to do, I was gonna do them one at a time, so I will do, let me make a motion to cancel March, the planning commission meeting for March 20.
I'll support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion will pass.
Good.
We already went over the village park with you. There's nothing more to talk about there, I don't think, at this point in time. Community development block grants, I have nothing on that, other than we are still sitting on some money that we need to spend.
Anything for Polyantro?
No, there's no meeting until next
They've
month.
reduced their number of meetings?
Yeah.
When they gonna start moving that dirt? Or grass?
Okay, since we're at the end of the meeting, before we adjourn,
I was just telling you.
I got a call from somebody who wanted me to meet him up at the mill last Thursday in the afternoon at 3 o'clock. I said, okay, since he gave me the key to get in, so I said, okay. You know, you can't get out of there without being, you can just walk around and walk out and you're filthy. So anyway, it was a nice meeting. This is very preliminary, but it is very good news for this community, could be, going forward. I have great hopes, and I was excited for the mill. There's a fellow that came with Oakland County representative out here, and what this man does is renovate these mills and buildings, and then he puts small businesses in there. So that the mill could become a stop house for Pollyant Trail with these small businesses. He said like a coffee beanery, a small coffee beanery, or, you know. It would give us a chance to fix that mill up and actually put something in there. And they give concerts in the summer.
Who pays for the renovations?
Funding. That's what Oakland County comes in. They're gonna help us with funding. So if we can get enough funding, this is very preliminary like this, but it could be a good win. For this community.
Does the renovations and the vision that he has match what the mill would like to do or what they intended to do?
In somewhat, yes, because he wants to do it as a museum.
Do we have to have a mill committee approve anything? Is there a mill committee?
We don't have a mill committee that I'm aware of.
It's the park committee.
Oh, park committee does, okay.
So this
So it
would
would
be
go back
in
to
the,
park
so
then.
the park committee would be in it.
If we were to get a proposal, then yeah,
Okay.
it would be, but ultimately it would be up to the village council. You know,
Yeah, it's always gonna come to us.
park committee
Eventually.
recommends. It's, like Bill said, it's early days.
Yeah.
So.
Show us the money.
It's positive. I mean, it would be nice if we could, if the village could come to an arrangement, and it would be an economic development project.
Oh, it would be awesome.
But it'd be part historical.
Yeah.
And it could be a real, kind of a benchmark, event for the mill.
We have some people in the village who are very, very pro-mill. We have some people who could knock it down and wouldn't care. So I just want to make sure that the pro-mill people are happy with whatever plans went through, that we weren't stepping on
At the rate
toes.
we're fixing it and getting funding or doing anything to be able to
Well-
fix it, it's gonna fall into more disrepair. You know, if we don't
I
have
know.
somebody like this comes along, this
Oh, I'm
is
with you.
great.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just, like I said, want to make sure that nobody's stepped on, I guess.
We'll retain ownership of the mill and we'll lease it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh,
That hinges on the DNR.
Well,
The mill was used with DNR money, so options, there's a lot of options. The village could pay the DNR back, and then we could do whatever we wanted with the mill. Or if we could get like a coffee shop or a bicycle shop, or, you know, something that's recreational related, then the DNR would probably be happy to, you know, have us be part of that.
so would we handle the actual leasing part of it, or would DNR be involved?
No, it would be our.
It would be ours to
Yeah,
handle.
the DNR would just manage that it benefits recreational opportunity. which its association with the trail is almost a home run right there.
We just have to be careful that we'd be adding a job that we weren't prepared for. And I say that out of full knowledge of renting.
Oh,
That, yeah, if you're taking on a tenant,
being landlords?
yeah. I don't know that Judy's gonna wanna call for furnaces and, Lori's gonna be ready to take a call on, my door doesn't lock, that kind of stuff. So it's just something to think about too.
We're a long way.
It's,
Well, like I said, I would hate to start plans with something that
No, yeah, but
we didn't like kind of think out through.
It's like us getting into the septic system business, it's a huge.
Yeah.
stretch.
okay. That settles that. Does anybody have anything else they want to bring before the council today? Be nothing, we'll adjourn the meeting at 8:26. I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:26. In support.
Bill Moore did it.
That was part.
There it is. Just wait for it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We're done.